Hello and welcome back to SpriteGuard Plays HyperRogue. It has been a pretty rough week for me recently, and now we are in the Hive and it is time to escape back into the world of HyperRogue, escape back into my favorite games. And you know, because of kind of the time and the space that we're in now, I want to just remind you all and remind myself that, you know, one of the things that I set out to do with this channel is to create a space where people could feel safe and could feel kind of like they were entering an environment where, you know, they could be themselves. And let's see, a second red nest is not going to help us out much. You know, I want to make this a place where people can feel welcome. That blue nest is really appealing, but I might be coming at it from the wrong angle. Yeah, that's a little frustrating. But that's too bad. You know, if we grab this orb of speed, that might actually make things easier. And here's another blue nest for us. So I just want to remind you that, you know, I like you as a person, and I value you. Even if I haven't spoken to you at all, I think you are a valuable person who has value in this world. And that's something that, you know, I started this channel with a desire to say, and I haven't always said that as effectively as I can. Now it looks like we have a lot more reds than blues here. So we'll probably have to do a lot of mopping up. I'm not really sure how we're gonna do that. I think I saw another blue nest around here somewhere, but maybe not. Yeah, we have a huge swarm of red. We can sick them onto this green nest. And then see if we can loop around here. Deal with some of these stragglers, and there's the blue nest right there. So we can head just back in here and grab some of these. And so, of course, you know, the other big thing that I want to do, you know, another big thing that I want to do with this channel is I want to, you know, share the joy of gaming and share kind of the ability for games to create this really wonderful escape like nothing else that I've ever experienced. You know, I've talked about augmented imagination, and I've talked about, you know, all of the kind of the struggle. One of the things that I love about games, and that I often talk about, is that there is nothing at stake. And so, you know, we're going on this great big challenge, and we are just trying to do as much as we can, trying to take on these big challenges. And I'm invested in the challenge. You know, I do want to succeed. We have 80 green after us, and it looks like 60 of the blue. So we're going to have to deal with these blue. And let's see, we might be able to use this red nest, or rather, the other green is what we need to deal with. And I believe they aggro more aggressively the more treasures you have. And so we have to be kind of more and more farther and farther away from a nest in order to avoid aggroing it. Now it looks like this will come pretty close, within 10, which we should be able to mop up. Now, Simon Clarkston pointed out to me that the purpose of the weird rocks is to find your way back to places rather than to find your way to nests before you know where they are. So I'm going to try and use these weird rocks here to actually help with that navigation. And then I'm just going to create this choke point here that's going to let us chew through all of these hyperbugs. And then we can move back along here, find our way to this one. And then we may even be able to use these weird rocks to find our way back to the crossroads, though we're not quite done yet here. We only need 3 more treasures from this land, though. And so, let's see, I did not pay enough attention to weird rocks. Which weird rock am I actually looking for? I believe it's this one? I have not been paying enough attention at all. And I still have quite a few hyperbugs after me, and I'm not really paying enough attention. And so I think we're going to actually take a break at this point. Despite not being able to find that crossroads that I wanted to find, I think what we need to do here is we need to kind of go around the edge of this nest and see if we can find it. Just the hard way. I really did think it was by that rather brightly colored, I think, green rock. That seems like the most likely color for it to have been. Now, we're getting a lot of wild hyperbugs here. And that is really what's messing me up, what's really kind of making things difficult for me, because I am having a little bit of difficulty seeing things and spotting these bugs. I'm not really being as observant as I really need to be, and so that's why I'm really worried and why I really want to get out of the hive, even though we're not quite done yet. And I'm going to grab this orb of flash for exactly that reason. I want to hold on to it if I at all can. And we're just going to keep looping around here. And I'm just going to have to use that, but then we can grab this one and speed. And those together are going to do some good stuff for us. We may at this point just want to wander randomly and hope that we find a crossroads. And the reason I want a crossroads is because what I'm really looking for is actually a graveyard. And the reason I'm looking for a graveyard is because, as I don't remember who, but someone mentioned that Trollheim is going to be a particularly difficult challenge. And so I actually have a plan for how to take on Trollheim using dead orbs. But we're going to need to get the 10 Necromancer's totems in order to do that. And I'm going to hang on to this flash for as long as I can. You know, we can line these guys up behind us. And it looks like they're actually going to fight those green hyperbugs. And that'll let me get a little bit further out. We can grab this orb of safety. That will drop us actually right next to a crossroads, so that is perfect. So now we're just on the lookout for a graveyard. We're just going to go for 10. And we're going to go for a fairly cheesy, fairly quick 10. Because really what we want is we want to farm up dead orbs. We don't really care about having them. We actually don't want them to spawn in other lands just yet. Because that will just be a little bit confusing in Trollheim. And I think it'll be much better if we just have a stockpile of them that we take in there. And basically my plan is to clear nests without taking their treasures. and then we will use dead orbs to mark our way back to those nests. And I'm just not seeing a graveyard. I know we have plenty of kills, but I'm just not noticing it, at least. We may have passed a few that I just didn't see, because as I mentioned, I'm kind of, it's pretty late. It's been a long day, a good day. I was with a friend who is someone just I really like, and who is really important to me. It's actually the person who I have known the longest outside of my family. And we don't see each other all that often, but we stay in touch, and we always have a good time. And, we're both very worried for, what's going to happen. This friend is actually more worried about their future, because they depend on some policies that are now in jeopardy because of the outcome of the recent election. The candidate who won, basically he campaigned on a few different things, but in particular he campaigned, oh dear, good thing we have 2 orbs of flash here. There we go. He campaigned on undoing a change in the way that healthcare is done in this country, and it really the policy really benefited a lot of disabled people and self-employed people, and now people are really worried about what's going to happen if this program goes away. Can you flash the shadow? No, you cannot. Okay. I didn't think you could. It seems like the sort of thing that you wouldn't be able to do. Now, of course, in the graveyard, I need to use the high contrast mode to really effectively find the treasures. But also, I always find that treasures are much harder to come by in the graveyard than most other places. And I do want to stay within sight of our blasting area. I do want to try to, be able to find my way back to the crossroads, though this is a very risky play that I'm doing right here. But it worked out. We managed to find our way back to the blast. And I've cut actually a very big area this time. Let's see, we're gonna have to go a little bit out of sight of it to get that one. Not gonna go for the other one because it's a little too far out. But now we're in an area where we can take it a little bit easier and not have to worry about kind of the insane crowdedness. And it looks like we have a couple more here that are going to be relatively easy for us to get. Let's see, we have another one down this way. Might be a little far out. Not too bad. Once again, just need to retrace our steps. And here's another one that's not too far out. So, as I hoped, as I'm getting more into the rhythm of things, as I'm getting more into the game, I'm starting to, focus more on what's going on here and less on kind of my worries and my kind of my friends' worries. And so, that is a huge part of the joy of gaming to me, is that You can get so absorbed in these things. And, it's dangerous. I have had times when I have gotten so sucked into games that I started neglecting the rest of my life. And that, of course, is very dangerous. I just realized I've been going, getting these totems, and we don't need to get any more of them at all. And I may have made a mistake here. Okay, I see where the blast is. So we just need to find our way back to the crossroads and start farming up dead orbs. And and now we get yet another part of the joy of gaming that is so precious to me, and that is the kind of the how easy it is to succeed. This is a very difficult game, but through just persistence over the last, I think, year or 2 years at least, 2.5 years maybe. Over the last quite a while, I have just been working away at this and trying again, and the failures have been, sometimes disappointing, but never dangerous, never, I've never lost anything by losing a run here. And so, I can just persist. It's enough to persist until you get better and you learn and you just move past the frustration. And so much in this world seems so scary. And it feels like the stakes are so high so much of the time that it's really, really great to have something where if you persist and you think about it and you work on it, you can be successful. And you don't have to worry about, if people are going to decide that they're not interested in you, or people are going to decide that you don't matter. You can just keep trying, keep resetting. The game won't remember you. The game won't hold a grudge against you. Unless you're playing, a game like Undertale that does actually remember you. But those games are very rare. Undertale is the only one I know of that really remembers you after you reset it. But Undertale is a very strange game, and I consider Undertale to be one of my biggest mistakes in running this channel. Was about a month before it became really, really popular. I found the demo on itch.io, downloaded it, added it to my queue, and then decided that I didn't really want to do a story-based RPG, and it didn't seem all that interesting. It just had this one idea that was kind of cool, but, I decided just to pass on it and look for other games, and of course, a little bit later it went to be one of the most popular games of that year. So that was one of the big mistakes that I've made with this channel. I've made a few, but another great thing about running this channel, about making Let's Plays, is again, the mistakes don't matter all that much. I'm pretty well insulated from any of the consequences of what I do. I still, I try really hard to create a channel that I can be really proud of. But I don't have to be afraid of mistakes haunting me. I don't have to be afraid because there's nothing at stake. There's nothing that I need to do with this channel. I've set goals for myself and I've met those goals, but the goals that I haven't met, it's fine. You know, I had one goal that I wanted to be financially supported by this channel. That was a long time ago that I set that goal, and eventually I realized that that wasn't really worth the cost. And that there were much better things that I could do with this channel than just try and make money off of it. And so I'm really happy with where it's gone, and I'm really excited to see where it goes in the future. So until next time, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.